Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK Journey video. In this video we're going to be doing a showcase of some of the Supreme Arena teams which have taken down my defenses in the replays. We'll be watching the replays and analyzing the teams and trying to maybe restructure our current defenses. And of course we're going to be breaking down why the teams are so effective, and hopefully this can also give you guys some ideas of what different defenses you can try to run on your own lineups. So, Alok is someone who has managed to, he got a 3-0 victory against me. And I wanted to first talk about the first team here. So the first team is now the new standard crowd control team with Almas and Alsa. He doesn't have any Paragon upgrades, but he has Almas, Alsa, Eironn, Damien, and Arden, all really well upgraded. He even has the Alsa plus 15 or plus 20 exclusive equipment and Arden at plus 20. Arden gets a bit more crowd control with the plus 20 effect. And Alsa, I do not know, at her plus 15 mythic plus, it will just be a slightly increased damage dealt by the vigorous slam, and yeah, so that isn't a major thing, but she'll gain stat bonuses of course by getting to plus 15 and plus 20. So in my opinion, based on my experience, this team that he's running is the best version of a crowd control team currently available. It is better than my lineup of Granny and Carolina in this team, because almost prolongs the duration of crowd control, which synergizes so well with Eironn and Arden, and Elsa deals massive damage. Look at the damage output she did in this fight, and it is because of her ability. I want to show it to you guys here. Rolling Boulder. Elsa senses the vibration of ley lines to locate all enemies recently affected by control effects, then drops boulders on them, dealing up to 280% attack plus whatever skill damage you have. This is a pretty insane way of increasing your damage in crowd control teams. It triggers a lot because of all the crowd control, and it just hits really hard. It just nukes people, and look at her damage contribution. Arden is also able to get off a lot of damage, because if Arden is uninterrupted and continuously casting on the crowd controlled enemies, he can contribute a lot of damage. So this is a very effective team. He is also using the enlightening spell, and that's just one thing I want to mention. In my experience in the Supreme Arena, the top 4 artifacts to be using are Enlightening Spell, Confining Spell, which are both non-seasonal, and then Cascade Spell if you want that immediate ultimate cast, and Evocation Spell for that instant, almost instant shielding and really good stat bonuses and buffs during the course of the fight. Those are the top 4 artifacts, even though the Confining Spell and Enlightening Spell are non-seasonal and they don't give you as much stat upgrades. They provide a very key effect. Like for example here, I believe he has Enlightening Spell on his Arden to prevent Arden from being crowd controlled to get off his consistent damage, which is a really good option. I also have Enlightening Spell on my team, and yeah, so that is really good. So now we're going to watch the replay. I think I've already set it to ×1 speed, and you're going to see it. So both of our Irons are going to cast our ultimates. We both have the Enlightening Spell. My Carolina is not controllable, and his Arden is not controllable. But now look at the boulders dropping onto the enemy that is dealing massive damage. It ramped up Elsa's energy, and she was able to cast her ultimate really quick, like compared to all of my team, and already casting her ultimate again, and the whole enemy is just destroyed. Because when she drops the boulders, it synergizes so well with her ultimate to then get off more crowd control by knocking the enemies into the boulders. So it's just crazy. This is, in my opinion, the best current crowd control team, and I'm thinking Alsa and Almas, because of this team, are just some of the top tier PvP heroes currently available. There's no real way to compete with this with any other team option. So definitely if I had Elsa and Almas, which I don't have built up to Mythic Plus, I would be running them on my defense instead of this. And it makes Carolina up to my plus 20 Carolina already. I'm kind of upset by that because I don't think she should be beyond plus 10, but it makes it even worse because now there's kind of like an upgrade to this Eironn nuke team, which is not even involving Carolina. But anyway, overall, she is a pretty good and strong hero. So this is a very good team, and definitely something that you guys should try to aim for on your own accounts. And yeah, I definitely recommend that. Now the number 2 team. This is where I'm running my Mauler team with the idea of hopefully having Cascade Spell, letting Coco ultimate and protect my team for a little bit longer and buy some time to kill off some of the enemies and also sustain back up with Smokey. There's a team the team plan and strategy, and if you don't have Vala here, you can be running Brutus, and then sometimes Brutus is even better in this team, like a full Mauler team with more front line is sometimes better. Either way, there's a key counter to it, which is a almost full Lightbearer team with Vala. it is a pretty good counter, and then there's not really much the Mauler team can do if the opponent does bring out this Lightbearer team with Vala. And another key thing I want to talk about, I don't think Merrily is the best option for this team. I would think even Corrin would be a better replacement for Merrily. I think he just provides more in PvP, but Temesia is good because of her seasonal skill. It will increase Vala's damage even further. It increases the physical damage taken by adjacent enemies up to 20%, and that is going to increase Vala's physical damage by 20% because of course she is a physical damage dealer. And look at the damage contribution in the fight. And even though I said Corrin would probably be better, Merrily did contribute a lot, but I think Corrin would contribute a lot too. And Rainier swap is good in the Raging Duel because it crowd controls the enemy for a bit, allowing your team to try and stack rage quicker. And also just Rainier is good in general on offense because you can get a key target teleported to your side. Now this may not apply and carry over to defense. Like for example, this full Lightbearer team would probably not be as effective on defense, because then you can counter it with a Graveborn type team, having Igor tank out the Vala Mark, for example, in the back, and then they're probably just going to lose. However, this is a really good offense option, so I still wanted to showcase this. So we're going to replay this match as well. Okay, so there is going to be the position swap. And they're position swapping the Smokey, trying to kill her first, and the Smokey is going to go down. I'm going to replay this because I wanted to see who the Vala is marking. But yeah, position swapping Smokey is actually pretty smart, and may even be smarter than position swapping the OD. Because if Smokey is swapped, he's providing no benefit to his team, and he's pretty squishy on his own, and because he's interrupted at the beginning of the fight, because of the position swap, he's not immediately able to heal himself up, and then he just goes down. So the Valamark is probably on... Valamark is on my own Vala. He's trying to nuke her down. Already she gets killed. Might because of Temesia's seasonal skill increases, because she was within 2 tiles of the Vala at that point in time, or adjacent, I think. And then the Vala just nuked my own Vala before my Coco can even ultimate. And the whole idea behind my team comp is for Coco to ultimate and protect my team, and it just didn't work out here. And even though he's not really stacking rage that effectively with his team, it doesn't matter. My team is already dead. And even if we stack the rage now, there's no saving us. It is over. Vala is just going to clean it up. So a good example of a Lightbearer team that can be run. Temesia, and you could even run Lucius, Temesia, Vala. This is a core 3 heroes you can be running on your defense. Along with that, you can run Rainier for swapping maybe a Corrin or Temesia into the enemy team. And even if you don't get a swap off, Rainier has the value because he can remove one of the enemy heroes from the battlefield for some period of time. And that is a good option. You can even run Rowan in teams like that, like the Rowan that was used here. I think those are some pretty good options you can try for your Vala teams if you have Vala built up in a Lightbearer, almost Lightbearer version of a team. Okay, now let's take a look at the final defense that we have here. So we have the final defense, which is, okay, the final attack. So my final defense used to be, I've changed it a bit. It is a stall team with Scarlita, but as you can tell, there are 2 wild heroes in it, Haywin and Floribel. And also in general, stall teams, the way they can be countered is with an OD type comp. OD Coco, basically you are trying to out-survive the opponent. He doesn't even have Smokey here. I was expecting him to have Smokey, but he still won. And I guess Silvina just jumped on a priority target at the beginning of the fight, probably onto my Rowan, to be honest. And that's why Rowan just kind of didn't work too well in this team. And I'll show you my new defense lineups, and after this, after watching this replay, we'll maybe restructure my defenses a bit, and considering all that we talked about. But basically, as you can see, there are 3 main key comps that you can be running. One is a crowd control comp, the Iron Nuke, and best is Alsa Elmis, but if you don't have them, Carolina Granny, Carolina Thorn can work. Then you have your Mauler team on offense or defense, which is, it can be Shakir, OD, Coco, those 3 key heroes if you have Shakir built up. Otherwise, Brutus on Chandra can work, Smokey can work, or you can put in an assassin as the final slot. Like I have Val in my defense, he put Silvina here for the final. And then you can have one other team, Lightbearer team, centered around Vala. It's a pretty strong team, and if you don't have many options, I think having a fully Lightbearer type team around Vala is a good option on defense, and you can try to run Rainier in that team, and it is an effective team. Okay, so let's take a look at this final replay. I know he's gonna jump my Rowan. Yeah, he just jumps on the Rowan. This is the problem. And Rowan is so easy to kill because he has a factual disadvantage from Silvina, and now Silvina and Assassins do well with Shakira. That's why I was mentioning if you're running the Mauler team and you have Silvina or Vala with them, and that was my team composition idea, because when the Assassins jump into the range of the Lupine's aura, they're going to be buffed up, and also they're increasing the buffs that themselves and Shakira are receiving as long as Shakira is at plus 10 exclusive equipment. So even though now we're stalling pretty well, Odie is free to get off his damage in the back. Coco ultimate comes off. As you can see, no Smokey here because Smokey is not really necessary. My team gets pretty close to wiping him out, but not quite because the Coco ultimate is active, and that's all they needed. That protection for that period of the time, preventing my ultimate cast of Scarlita from knocking them out, and now they're just going to work down and clean up my team, because Scarlita is very scary, but if Scarlita cannot kill with her combo of ultimate into her dash, she is going to not do so well. Now she's still being sustained by the Haywin, but it's getting close, and Shakir has so much sustain in his kit, and Floribel is just not really doing that much in the back, to be honest. And yeah, so I mean, maybe he did get lucky on this final team. I definitely think with different RNG, the Scarlita team would have worked, but it just is not the most effective team because it became a 5v4 right at the beginning of the fight because of Rowan. Rowan was just too susceptible on defense, so it just wasn't a good defense option. So that being said, I want to restructure some of my teams. So now I'm trying to run a Graveborn type stall team, and out of the Graveborn heroes, Carolina could be another hero to run here. However, I know Carolina is not as good as Alsa in the crowd control team, but I still need to run Carolina in my crowd control team because I don't have Alsa, and she will contribute a lot of damage in this team comp. I do think though I should keep having Arden in the back and have Arden protected by the Enlightening spell because he can get off his crowd control more effectively then, and that can allow my team to survive a bit better. I'm also thinking maybe some positioning could be different here. I'm not entirely sure like how I should position, but I feel like if you have your heroes back further, sometimes it can work out better for you. You don't get controlled as badly. So I'm going to try a team like this for right now, but I will have to go for this. I could try to use Floribel maybe instead of Carolina for a full Wilder team, but then it's also kind of weak to Maulers, and this has kill threat against the Maulers, and yeah, I don't want to swap out any of these other heroes for Floribel. So for right now, I think Floribel will not have a place. With this team, I want to change around this team, and for the final team, I do like this team kind of. Yeah, it's Graveborn Stall with Scarlita. I think it can be pretty good. I don't want to use Floribel for right now because we've had experimentation with Floribel. It just doesn't work that well. But maybe, you know, that same Floribel team would do better with Igor rather than the Rowan, because Rowan just got nuked at the beginning of the fight, but Igor would have the survivability. But I do want to try it like this with the Silvina and more of a kill pressure onto the opponent along with Scarlita to finish it off. So really looking at my teams, I feel like this second team is my weakest link. Although that being said, sometimes this does also manage to get wins. I'm thinking about a way to keep the Vala in here but also protect my team against enemy Valas. Because if that were possible, then I think this team would be the best. And also protecting against Rainiers of the enemies. Like, what if we went for something like this? This way, any Valas would be marking the Brutus, most likely. Yeah, any Vala would be marking Brutus, I believe. He is the best target to be taking the mark. They can only Rainier swap Shakir, which is not really worrying at all. And we don't have the Smokey, but we have more kill threat with the Vala and the OD. I'm thinking about a team like this, because Smokey, the problem with Smokey in a team like this is that he doesn't do enough. I think having the protection against Vala marks from the Brutus and another melee tank to power up the Lupine's aura and get benefit from that aura is going to be better. And then we have the double kill threat of OD and Vala, and Brutus will run up here along with the Shakir. So I think I'm going to try this team for a while and see how it goes. If we're looking at the heroes I have left, the key heroes we would want to maybe try to use in PvP are Smokey, Rowan, Floribel, or Temesia. But I don't see a great place for them in my teams. You guys can let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. But I think this is probably the best version. If I'm not running Thorin here, then Granny will be the best option. And I think I want to run the Thorn here for Graveborn type stall and have some kill threat with the Silvina. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with these teams now. Oh, this is the positioning. We want the Igor here because then it can take the Vala mark. If the Vala is going to be positioned somewhere over here, Vala will mark the Igor. You don't want the Haywin here easy to mark. But Haywin can be position swapped by the Rainier, which is a bit of a problem, but we don't want it to be marked by the Vala. So I think for right now, I'm going to try these teams. I don't know how amazingly they'll do, but I'll let you guys know about that in the future. And we're trying like the more back placement of this team to see if it will work better. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below, because I was really impressed by these teams which were used. And if we just briefly take a look at Sun's team, he also had an Alamus Elsa team, and this is what I mean, but he was running Silvina as a final option instead of Damien, and we did manage to win with our crowd control team. So it can depend a bit on RNG. However, of course, with Damien, it would be better than Silvina, I think, and also the Alok's upgrades of the heroes was a bit higher on the Arden and the Elsa. And on Arden, it kind of matters for the skill upgrade. For Elsa, it's just about the stats. And funnily enough, this second team which he was running, sometimes my Mauler team did actually beat it, even though it lost to it here. And then the final team is some sort of Vala version of a team. So I'm going to change that around. I don't know, Floorball doesn't seem to be working out so well for me on defense. I think it's also because like I have a lot of different heroes built up and there's not just room for her in these teams. There's sometimes better options. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope it was helpful and you learned something. And I will try to do more of these videos in the future because I know you guys like them, whether it's regular arena or Supreme Arena. But thank you for watching. That's going to be it for this one. And until the next video, everyone, peace out for now.